Self-voicing enabled. Start. Your lamp has shattered. You are deep within the belly of the cave system you had been exploring. This is not the first time this has happened, but it is the first time you've been without a backup light. In the dark, you must find your way back utilizing your other senses. Touch. Listen. Move. You don't know which direction you should head. Maybe you should feel around first. You hear nothing except your own breathing. At this depth, you had expected to hear bats chittering, but they are quiet. You can feel where the shards of glass scattered from the broken lamp. It's a shame, but no use getting upset. You make sure not to injure yourself on the shards. You can feel where the low ceiling above you opens up. You're able to clear it without hitting your head. Usually you would refrain from touching the delicate walls of the cave, but you have to touch them if you're to find your bearings. You feel a particular indent on the wall and are able to orient yourself. You keep one hand in front of you and one hand to the side to make sure you are barely touching the wall. This cave system was wider than most, and allotted plenty of walking space. You came to the cave to explore it, after having unearthed it along a shallow cliffside in your backyard. Having a lot of land was nice. In fact, you had moved to the countryside for some peace and quiet. But this was too much. You promised yourself you wouldn't come back until you were ready to hard install lights in the tunnels. You come to a point where the wall slopes, suggesting an opening. You don't know which direction you should head. You can hear the dripping of water, faint as it may be. It does not echo very much, suggesting a low ceiling. You nearly trip over the uneven ground but manage to keep yourself upright. You can feel a section on the wall where a small amount of water drips down. It must have rained recently. You nearly trip over the uneven ground but manage to keep yourself. As you scramble from the fall, you feel the wall in front of you, and how it changes from rough rock to a smooth slate. It's incredibly cold to the touch. Floor slants upwards and in two directions, suggesting a fork in the road. You know there is no fork, but rather a shallow pocket of ore deposit. You note where you are on your expedition. Knowing where you are, you continue onwards. It's still total darkness, but you feel like you've acclimated a bit to the sensation. This isn't too bad. You shuffle your feet against the cave floor, hopeful to not trample any blooming stalagmites. You know you're about halfway back. Behind you, you hear a noise. You freeze. What was that sound? You strain to listen for any repeat noises. It had sounded like an echo of your own feet, almost, but they were out of sync. Suddenly the walls felt closer than before. You continue walking. The footsteps returned. You don't want to stop, but you reach an open room once more. The false echo had ceased, only to be replaced with a sense of unnerve. You can hear your ragged breathing echo against the walls. Touch. You feel a distinct landmark you had left, a hiking stake. It was originally there as a place to rest your lamp as you dragged water out of the cave, but now it serves as a waymarker. You thank your past self. Save. Save slot. There is a strange thing on the ground that wasn't there when you came through just a while. There is a strange thing on the ground that wasn't there when you came through just a while ago. It feels wet, perhaps even slimy. You decide to stop touching it, whatever it is you don't want to know. The walls here have a strange wetness to them. It feels too viscous to be water. Perhaps it's tree sap or mineral water. You smell the liquid and find it has a strange scent. It smells salty, like the ocean. You should leave it alone. Tut. Knowing where you are, you hug the wall and continue on the steep climb upwards. It won't be too much further now. Behind you, the footsteps return, unmistakable. Even if you wanted to run, you couldn't. The darkness impedes your dexterity, and falling would only cost you in the long run. Instead you grit your teeth and push away the misty tears in your eyes and climb. You climb the makeshift cavern stairs as fast as you can. The footsteps encroach on you. In the distance, you can see the hint of light from the entrance. You can see the briefest outline of your hand now and can see what was on it. Somehow you knew. What smelled like the ocean now smells like decay. You try to wipe it off onto the walls, but that only spreads it. Behind, you no longer hear footsteps. As you run to the entrance, you glance over your shoulder. In the shrouded entrance, you see nothing but darkness. But, somehow, you feel as if the darkness sees you. You run and don't look back.